Shalom, blessed people. Yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend of mine called Peter. He's a car dealer. So he happened to mention to me something that they've observed in their line of business. So he said, Paul, okimanyi nti omuntu ajja wano ng'agenda agula emmotoka ya bukadde 5 naye nga sente asuubira nsuubire. N'asooka abawayo obukadde 2 n'agamba ajja kudda. So literally meaning, for those of you that don't understand Luganda, he meant someone has aspirations. You buy in faith. You want to buy a car that is worth 50 million, but you in cash have 2 million and you're expecting about 48 million. And oftentimes there's that car money that we're always expecting. Sometimes it's from a sale of an item or a property, maybe land or a house that you hope to buy, that you hope to sell. Then you can also go ahead and buy whatever it is that you have promised the buyer that you're buying. Welcome to Pesa Talk. My name's Paul Businge. I'm excited to have you on yet another episode where we're going to delve into the savings bit of our financial journey. Now that we had a conversation around budgeting, we know what to do. We are now going secondary to that conversation into savings. So, what is savings? Someone would be asking. And without mincing my words, in a nutshell, I would say for me, a savings is putting away that money that you've earned. Quote unquote, earned. Meaning, the money is already in your custody, but you're putting it away. It's not money that you expect to earn in the future, but rather money that in actuality you've earned, that you have in your custody. So when you put away that money that you have in your custody, what you're doing for at that moment is saving. And oftentimes, I think a conversation comes around, why should we save? Why should someone engage into a savings habit or savings culture? And everything that is associated with the reasons as to why we should save is futuristic in a way. One of the things we look at is to be able to cover unexpected expenses that are both short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Let's just delve a little bit into what unexpected expenses are short-term. For example, you may fall sick and you have medical bills that are short-term, which is maybe next week. For example, you may have long-term bills that you may need to cover. Let's look at your school fees, your children's school fees in the next 5-6 years. That may be medium term. And then long term, you may be looking at expenses around your retirement. When you choose to retire from that grind that keeps you awake the whole night, when you choose to retire from that 8 to 5 a.m. job, you then touch a little bit into your savings. So you have heard of a popular saying. My producer is going to play for you this audio.
Bamikwano amazima go gali nti ekisenge kigenda tugwira kuba buli gwosaba sente agamba ndi ku kisenge ndi ku kisenge abamu muveeko ku kisenge kigenda kutugwira banato okiwulire ekitwe.
One of our aspirations for why we should be able to save is that some of us needs to move away from that wall. Abamu tulina okuva ku ekisenge, tuliko bangi nnyo, so ekisenge kinaatera otugwira. So we should be able to see some of us move away from that wall by saving. So in future, when someone asks you for a little bit of money, you have some money to spare. If they are close to you, if you trust that they will pay back the money, if you want to keep your friendship, you'll be able to give away some of that money. The second is creating an investment pool. People save such that they're able to create a little bit, to put away funds such that they're able to invest at a certain point T. So you know that you cannot start investing without savings. That is why most financial advisors, most loan officers will tell you, please do not put away, please do not borrow to start a business. The reason they try and tell you that talk is because you should be able to start your business or your investment using your initial money. Where you should be able to get financing, it should be coming from a point whereby you've already started this journey, and then the financing is only coming to support on the areas where you think you need a bit of growth. The third and most important is financial freedom in the future. There's been a lot of talk that unlike the generation before ours, I mean, the one that I belong to, I'm a millennial, unlike the generation before ours, where we're able to maybe take care of our parents, take care of our grandchildren, take care of our grandparents in that accord. The generation that is coming up next, Generation Alpha and a bit of Generation Z or Z. These are guys who are going to rely on their parents for most of the things. Why? Because there are certain habits that are being eroded as we evolve as humans. So one of the things that we are putting together, things like Pesa Talk, is to ensure that we are able to touch a few Ugandans, a few East African, a few Africans, to ensure that you're able to put away some money for you to be financially free in future. Nothing gives you a lot of joy than a financially free person. So where you're able to cover your own costs without bothering anyone, where you're able to cover your bills without bothering anyone, where we don't have to do a car wash for you. That is what all of us aspire to do. I cannot say myself I'm already there. The reason this is here and I'm your host is because, one, I am working on myself. Two, I also intend to ensure that I learn from you. Every time we have this conversation on the chat, on TikTok, on WhatsApp, I'm going to be getting some more tips from you people on how I can improve. So those three for me are the golden reasons why you should be able to save. Just maybe a recap: one, to cover unexpected costs and those that are planned, short-term, long-term. Two, to create an investment pool. If you're planning to invest, you should be able to start your investment with your saving. The third is to be financially free by making sure that you've saved. So as you're thinking of putting away that money, the question should be coming into your head: where should I put the money? And I'm going to be very categorical about this. Saving is not investing. Please mark my words. Savings is not investing. Saving, for example, is putting away money that is not earning you any interest. Investing is putting away money into something that is earning you interest or that is giving you capital appreciation. So for purposes of this conversation today, where we are sticking and keeping ourselves to only the savings bit of financial personal finance, we are going to say one of the places you can put your money today. Tomorrow the topic will be different and our advice will be different. But today, if you're putting away money for purposes of saving, one of the places you should be able to see that you put your money is in the money market funds. The second should be in a savings account. If you find banks so dear to you, if you find that you trust them, the issue around money and saving is purely around trust and safety. So the banks have been known time immemorial to be one of the safest places to save money, not to invest money. So for purposes of saving, it's okay. You can put your money into a savings account. For purposes of getting a bit of a return, maybe you may want to explore other options. So you have savings account, you have piggy banks. For the little ones, you have a child that you want to teach. You want to instill a savings culture into them. You should be able to have or get them a piggy bank where they put a little bit of those coins for them to be able to learn. Even you as an adult, those extra coins that the judge guy gives you, the safe border guy gives you, the delivery guy gives you, put those into a piggy bank until they are a lump sum. Then you can take them into a bank. The third is I've said money market, I've said piggy banks, I have said the savings account. So if you belong to, say, an investment club, an investment clubs that are starting out normally start out with a core objective of collecting money. Collecting money is what you now term as saving. So you can come together collectively and put together monies, but it should be something that is registered. So one of the guiding frameworks around how much you should save or how much you should put away. If you remember in our previous episode where we touched on budgeting, where we allocated about 20% of our earnings to savings, or 30% in an event that you can do a mix and match. One of the things that you're advised to do is to have up to 6 months of your monthly expenditure into an emergency fund. An emergency fund can be a bank account, can be a money market fund, wherever your heart feels very dear should be where you should put your money. So you should be able to have up to at least, it's okay to have up to a year, but it's also okay for you to have at least up to 6 months of your monthly expenditure or your monthly outflows into an emergency fund. Once you have that, the second you should be looking at as to how much you should be able to save should be, if you are saving for a goal, the quantum or the quantity or how much that goal is going to cost you should inform how much you are saving. There's something called goal-based saving. Goal-based saving is whereby you look at your goal. Say, for example, you want to achieve 10 million at the end of the year, and then you work backwards into how much do I need to put away every month for me to be able to achieve the 10 million. So the how much of your saving should be informed by either, if you're growing an emergency fund and it's 6 months of your expenditure, monthly expenditure in total. 2, it should be goal-based. If you have a goal that you want to achieve at the end of the year, you want to go to Dubai. A ticket to Dubai is on an average between 7 to 8 million. So you're working with 7 to 8 million for 12 months. How much do you need to put away in terms of savings every month? Those two should be able to inform you on the how much that you should be able to save for yourself. And then, now that we know how much to save, the question is around where should I put this money? One of the places you shouldn't put your money is, please do not put your money under the bed. It's going to attract thieves into your household. You're going to put everyone in danger. You may share with a relative may find out, or a friend may find out that you're keeping money under the bed. Keeping money under the bed is a rudimentary or is an old school or bushman way of saving. For reasons, economically, money that is kept under the bed doesn't appreciate. Money that is kept under the bed is attacked by what we call inflation. Every month, the Bank of Uganda releases what you call macros that point out in terms of where the economy is, where our inflation as a country is, and on an average, for the last few months, we've been averaging between 3.5 to 3.9. Worst case scenario, we've gone to a 4 per annum average inflation rate. So if you keep your money under the bed, it is being attacked by inflation. Of course, inflation is a broad topic that I may not go into, but just to give you an understanding of what it is that exactly inflation does to your money. So think of your money as a value for what it can be exchanged for. So you go to a supermarket with 100,000 in the month of January, maybe it will buy you 4 liters of cooking oil, it may buy you bread, it will buy you 5 kilos of sugar, it will buy you soap. When you carry the same amount of money in March, and it will buy you the 4 liters of cooking oil, the 5 kilos of rice, and maybe 2 kilos of sugar, and it's unable to buy you now washing soap or what you call bar soap, then that is not what inflation is. It is the loss of purchasing power of the money that you have or the currency that you have in your possession on the same basket of goods. So if you keep your money under the bed, it's going to be attacked by inflation. So please do not keep your money under the bed. The second place you shouldn't go to is unregistered circles and self-help groups. You know those bibinas, eh? In our local language, you call them bibinas. You know those bibinas where you go and you're putting away your money, 70,000 every week. You see it. The person that keeps it maybe puts it under the bed, maybe gives it, if it's a women's group, maybe they give it to their husband to inject in their business, such that at a point T, when one of the members wants their money, they can recall it. It's a good way to start saving for purposes of accountability, but you and I know what has happened in the past. When you hear that the treasurer, you've seen jokes around the treasurer wechibina tete aduse. Literally meaning the treasurer of our self-help group has disappeared. So when the treasurer disappears with your money, what happens? Remember, these are your life hard earnings. Please stay away from unregistered circles, stay away from informal self-help groups, and also stay away from saving from places whereby there is no formal regulatory framework, or whereby you're not able to go and take someone to police. I mean, you don't have any formal agreement, you don't have any formal contract, you don't have anything that you can attach to having given them money. So you're putting your money at risk. Remember, you struggle to make this money. You should be able to guard it jealously. You should be able to invest it in places whereby if someone disappeared or if someone breached their contract, you're able to take them on legally. There should be a framework. The last that I'm going to be eaten for is online apps. So these ones have become, every year we get a new app coming. Every year we get a new app scamming people. Every year we get a new app that you hear. One day just you wake up, it has maybe a savings challenge whereby you're saying people are saving maybe 20,000 every day, and then all of a sudden the app disappears. Please stay away from those. They're not going to take us any far. So now that we have been able to ascertain where we should save, how much you should save, the places where we shouldn't save, that money that exists in those different forms. So you see that cash that you keep in your wallet, what you call the liquid cash, which is the first form of money, first form of saving. So you know you're maybe spending in the next 24 hours or 36 hours or end of week basically. So you get to keep a bit of cash. The reason some of you do that is because you want to reduce on your visits to your bank. Those who are not on mobile banking or internet banking, you get to reduce on your ATM charges. You just want to make lesser visits to your ATM and bank, so you get to have a buffer in terms of cash. The second would be the things that are what you call the near cash savings assets. So the places where you put money, where you can easily recall it within 24 hours or within hours. So you keep it somewhere for an asset class that is maybe earning you some money. When you need it, you can easily recall it. The last is for your long-term savings. So you have savings that are backed by assets that are long-term in nature, and those are now more solid investments, or what you'd call less liquid money in terms of savings. As we wrap up, let's look at some tips. For me, these are golden tips, golden rules, the things that I feel like we should be aspiring to do, the things that I feel like we should be incorporating into our day-to-day life in terms of us moving on this journey of savings. So one, if you're planning to save, please save with a direction. Imagine waking up today and you want to go to Entebbe and you do not know where you're going to pass to go to Entebbe. You know how terrible and stressful that would be. Just coming out of your gate, you do not know what road you're going to use. You do not know what places you're going to pass for you to get to Entebbe. So same as savings. If you're planning to save, you should be having some form or something that informs why you're saving and how you're getting there. You should have a roadmap. The roadmap may be you breaking down your saving frequency into monthly, into weekly, into daily, if you're doing mobile savings on the phone, or into annual, for example. But basically have some sort of guiding framework that then informs you in terms of why it is that you're saving and how much it is that you're saving. The second is creating a savings budget, and that speaks to the first point, because it should be flowing. So after you've created a savings budget, and savings budget being how much it is that you want to put away, if it's 300,000 per month, you've set the frequency being monthly, the budget being 300,000, you're then able to have a bit of discipline. You're able to follow up to ensure that you're putting away the 300,000 every month for you. Once you've set that, the third tip is going to be, are you able to automate that savings pattern? Is it something that you can put on maybe a recurring framework? Are you going to set a standing order in your bank for that money to be picked from your bank every month, the same amount of money, same frequency, and at the same time frame for it to go? It will make it easy for you to have the discipline of saving. Remember, what we are trying to grow here is a habit of saving. We are not saying get a chunk of money, 10 million, and put it away. We are saying do small steps, baby steps, to ensure that you achieve even bigger dreams than the 10 million that you'd have put. And then the fourth is you'd have to review. This is very dear, because as you plan to save, you realize that you maybe took off some debt, or there's some debt that you're paying. Some of it is very expensive. Some of it is maybe debt that you took when you're in desperate times. It would be a nice place for you to start by reviewing your debts, your limits, and then the amounts. if you're able to do that before you even go into saving, you're able to see whether you'd want to first clear those debts before you can save, or whether saving would be a better option for you to run with the debt that you have. So it's important for you, as the fourth golden rule, for you to be able to review your debt and credit limits. Once you've done all the four and it still doesn't make sense, the fifth is you're going to use your side hustle. For those of you that have things that you do over and above your 8 to 5 p.m. jobs, it's an opportunity for you then to tap into your side hustle to finance the deficit in your budget, to be a good place for you to start in terms of savings. If you want to push, or if you want to encourage yourself, or if you want to grow the habit of saving, you can choose to allocate your hustle extra income to your savings. You make sure that every time there's a bit of extra income that you've earned from your hustle, you're pushing that money into your savings. That is one of the golden rule. That is golden rule number 5. Golden rule number 6 is making savings fun. So savings can all be boring because you're putting away money that you're supposed to spend now. So you want to see how do I make it more fun. I have seen savings challenges. I know you have come across savings challenges where someone says, maybe in month January I would be saving an equivalent to that figure. If you're doing tens, you may start with 10,000. In the month of February, you're doing 20,000 because it's Feb. In the month of March, you're doing 30,000 because it's a month of March. In the month of April, you're doing 40,000. So by the time you reach December, you're able to put away 120,000. So if you're doing hundreds, which is now 100,000, you're saying in the month of January, I'm doing 100,000, February I'm doing 200,000, March I'm doing 300,000. So you're putting away. So for example, if you're doing 300,000 in March, it means you're saving 10,000 every day for the 30 days. So make savings fun. Make it something that you can give a challenge. Give yourself a savings challenge. Give yourself a savings pattern, something that is out of the ordinary. And then last, which is the golden of the golden, is make investment your ultimate savings goal. It doesn't make sense for you to put away money if it's not going to earn you some more money. So make investments your ultimate savings goal. So put away that money now, but at the end of the day, know that you want to invest that money into something that is going to return or give you capital appreciation in the long run. Thank you so much for hanging in here with us today on Pesa Talk. My name is Paul Businge. I will not forget to give props to my camera crew, the team from Vadi Media, our marketing partners, Brand Forge Marketing Agencies, that is making this possible for it to be on all the media platforms, on all the social media platforms. Thank you so much. If you've not yet subscribed to our channels, please do. We are going to take this step by step. I am relying on you, our Pesa Talk community, to take this movement, to work on ourselves. As I work on myself, you're working on yourself, to ensure that we are all financially independent people or independent Ugandans. Thank you. I'm out.